down, ready to go? I'll explain. So let's talk frost loss a little bit. Well, you guys like my jacket? The wife said I had to change things up a little. I look the same every day, and the jacket, this goofy cheap sweatshirt I had, zip up, was all dirty. Said she had to clean it. The only problem is all my other stuff is like too big on me. But anyways, it's not a bad thing. Frost loss. Let's discuss that really quick. It's hard to explain it all in one video because everybody's got different questions. We're gonna walk back here and check on Polly. It's raining out it was snowing out this morning. Now it's raining out. It's just nasty. Frost loss. You can't haul heavy loads on Class B roads. There's different classes of roads, and we call it Class A roads. Those are the roads that you're allowed to haul. Get out of Paul's way. Your normal loads on. Okay, our chip vans. You can haul those on a Class A road. Okay. But the problem is you can't haul that skidder anywhere. Don't matter. Because it's over width and overweight. Okay? That thing's like stupid wide. Especially that one. So you can't haul any equipment. Any of our equipment. You could actually haul our dozer during frost laws if you pulled the blade off it. So, because the blade's too wide. And there's all kinds of stuff like that. So I understand all your questions because it's a lot of goofy stuff. So, what we have to do is this. We have to either get on a Class A road with our equipment, or we have to get on a dirt road that leads to Class A. Because if you're on a dirt road, then you can get to the Class A and you're fine. Until you mud up that road too much, then the county can shut you down too if you end up doing too much damage to the road. Now, that being said, the county we're in, they treat us and have treated us very well. A lot of people have asked, don't they understand that you're trying to make a livelihood and you have bills to pay? The county that we usually stay in does understand that, okay? And they do a very good job at trying to help us out. Last year we were on a road, and this weather's just crazy. But last year we were on a road, and they guy come in, talked to us for a half hour and said, had a couple complaints about the road. He bladed it up for us and said, you know, and we were almost done with that job. And super nice, said, well, you know, if you guys are almost done, no big deal. And they try to help you out all they can because the counties do understand that you are trying to make a living, and they understand what happens if you get shut down. So especially our home county, they try to treat us very well. And they have ever since I've worked here. We haven't had much problem at all when it comes to them being lenient for us, understanding that we're trying to make a living. So what you do is we get all our machines set up. What we'll do is we'll set up 2 chippers on 2 different jobs. Okay, we'll put some equipment at one job, some equipment at the other job. And what we do is I don't know if we're gonna have both bunchers set up. It all depends on where we're at. But you'll get 2 different operations set up, and you'll chip on one job, and then it might get bad there. We'll jump everybody over the other job and chip on that job, or so on and so forth. Maybe get one job done. All depends on the ground and the weather. All that stuff plays a factor into it. But we set up 2 jobs so we can work 2 different areas. The semi trucks, like I said, there's no problem. They're not over width or overweight. Our equipment is. So, somebody asked a question about the chipper. That chipper's 12.5 foot wide and it weighs 120,000 pounds. It weighs 60 tons on 3 axles. That's before your 500 gallons of fuel and your 300 gallons of hydraulic fluid. Okay, that thing weighs a whole lot. If we get caught moving that, we're talking about a ticket in the tens of thousands of dollars. So you just don't do it. And let's be realistic here. The county knows where you're at. You can't be chipping over, you know, chipping right here, and then, oh, we get done with this job, we move 10 miles down the road, and they're going to say, well, how'd you get all that equipment here? They're not idiots. So it's just really an interesting time. So what happens is let's say we have 2 jobs and we get all our wood done on those 2 jobs. We don't have anything else to do. Then we get laid off. The other possibility that you have is you'll get, say we're cutting this job right here and we're on a Class A road and everything's going great and we run out of wood, but then the neighbors, say right here, says, well, I want my woods cut too. Now we're talking. So you can cut the neighbors, pull all their wood onto this landing, use this landing, and still work. So that's going to happen because I know he's got more than one job on one road together where we can kind of shuffle wood around. But it's just very tricky, and it's, I mean, the counties have to protect their roads, because let me tell you what, if they didn't protect those roads, those secondary roads, they would get trashed. Because what happens is you got your pavement on your secondary roads, and it's not that much pavement, but you got this frost underneath it, right? You get some warm weather, the frost on the top, you know, thaws out first, so it's kind of muddy and spongy underneath the asphalt, let's say. And you start hauling our chip vans and our equipment and that chipper down it, it'll just peel that stuff right up and just ruin, absolutely destroy a road. Now the Class A roads are built better, and they're different with a, I don't understand if it's a spongier material. I'm sure I'll have people comment and tell me more about it. It's a different asphalt almost that kind of lets that thing float when you get that frost underneath it. And that frost gets bad under our roads here in Michigan, and I'm sure north of us into the Canadian territories. But that frost will build up under that ground and heave the road up in spots. And it's our roads in the winter, sometimes if you get a real bad frost, the paved roads will be bad. I mean, you're bouncing all over the place because it's pushing that asphalt up all over and make our roads bumpy. That's why Michigan has the problem with their roads like we do, because it's just that frost is hard on them. That being said, this year the frost is like non-existent. I mean, there's frost down there, of course. You're gonna have frost. It hit 0 just a handful of times. So it didn't really get that bad as far as the frost getting packed down on the ground. Last winter, I remember the minus 30 days, where it was minus 30 for a long time, and the winter before that, the minus 32 pulling into a job. When you get cold winters like that, it really puts the frost in the ground, which means that it really takes a long time for that frost to get out, so the frost laws are on longer. That being said, with a little bit of frost, if we get the right weather, they won't be on long. Now, they're not on now in this county, so we're totally fine doing what we're doing and moving to different jobs. And if the county next door, where our last job was, if they click theirs off, then we can actually move our equipment back and try to do the end of that one job and then get my gravy patch done. But that's the other thing, is everything's up in the air. You just don't know what's going to happen, and you don't know what the weather's going to do. So that puts you in a pickle. So it's just like one day at a time. We talked yesterday, me and Mike and all of us guys were here talking, because you just don't know. You don't know if it's going to get cold and they'll pop them off next door, or if it's going to get warm and they'll put the frost laws on here. So it's just a big up in the air thing where it's hard to tell, hard to plan. even as far as jobs go. We talked about jobs. We got a job up north of here a ways. Well, do you want to do that one? You don't want to get up there. It's about an hour from here north. If you go an hour from here north, move all this equipment up there, then you get stuck up there, and they put frost laws on here or there, and we got to move everything in a day. You just can't do it. I mean, we got 2 low boys. You can't. Not enough manpower to move all this equipment. So it's just a big up in the air thing. I was hoping I'm going to answer a couple more questions on the frost law stuff here. They haven't clicked on any more around our general area. Monday was the big boom. A bunch of counties put them on. They're on way up in the UP. And I had somebody comment, I mean, that's devastating to some people. It's just, I can't imagine how long they'll be on and what it does for companies. Because a lot of people ask if we can haul half loads. Like the log truck video that I took where he's hauling that half load. We're fine here. But the mill that he hauled that load to is not on a Class A. So he can only load half a load. Now, his second load that he hauled out of here today, I didn't videotape, was a full load. He's hauling to a mill that is on a Class A, so he can haul a full load. It's a constant, give and take. You got to be paying attention. What are you doing? Where are you going? It's just really hard to get it all in order. So that's the hardest part. And in our chip vans, we can't load those halfway. You just can't do it. I had somebody picking on me. I had somebody picking on me because I had a bunch of chips in front of the chipper. They thought I overfilled it, which I do overfill. Every van I want completely full, okay? We want to shove as much in their chips as we can because we get paid by the weight. And when you reduce that into half, and they got to travel 100 miles one way and 100 miles back, you can't do it. Can't make no money. So you're better off just to shut everything down. And as horrible as that sounds, we had to do it last year for 2 weeks, I think, just because we couldn't move nothing. And what's funny is, the second that they start pulling frost laws, you see equipment rolling everywhere. I mean, it's something else. But I mean, it don't just affect us. I mean, it affects the construction workers if they got equipment they need to move to new construction, or it affects all that kind of stuff. But there's nothing you can really do. It's just the way it goes. So you just, every year, it stresses Mike out. And it stinks because, I mean, everybody tries as much as they can to help everybody else out, ease everybody else's stress, but there's nothing we can do about it. It's just, it's gonna come, you just don't know when. And it's especially hard for the company owners that got all their eggs in the basket, trying to take care of them all, because you can go downhill pretty quick on a long frost law break. So spring breakup, frost law, whatever you want to call it. Only thing you can hope for is real good big jobs where you can haul a lot of wood off of. In our area, those are hard to find. The last crew from Canada that come down, we're talking to them, and they're on 3,000 acre sales. There ain't nothing like that around here. Them are like dreams. So hopefully that answers some frost law questions, guys. They got Chris here. Chris is back. He was in Washington, D.C. all weekend, working the inauguration, trying to keep Trump safe. Anyways, thanks, guys.